Welcome back to the Law Show. I'm attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the city of Motors, Motown, Detroit, Michigan, answering all your legal questions at 855 Law Show. That's 855-529-7469. Matt, I got to hand it to you. It was like you were a metal detector, and you found what that guy's problem was. And it wasn't a problem so much as it was him just causing trouble. So let's talk a little bit so our listeners can hear, as we're waiting for the phones to queue up again, about the kinds of consequences, especially in the 19th District Court, a person can receive from hassling the clerks by trying to pay them with pennies and nickels and dimes.
Well, there's an adage in life, and it really applies in the law as well, and that adage is you get more flies with honey than vinegar. And there are so many people that walk into the court system with attitudes and anger and hostility. And if there's any time to kind of take an exercise in patience and self-control, it's when you walk through those courthouse doors. Because I guarantee you, Brian, that man or that woman in the black robe has full control of what goes on in their courthouse, and they're not going to appreciate your attitude. They do not view themselves as a civil servant that is beholden to your interests. That is their courthouse, and you better treat them and their staff with respect, or you are never going to get what you want out of the court system. And doing something like showing up with a bunch of rolls of quarters and pennies to try and frustrate the clerks, that is not going to help your situation. And there's actually a statute on point. Of course, I don't have it handy, but there's actually a statute on point that authorizes courts to limit how much change they have to accept in the payment of fines and costs. So if you are all angry and upset about a situation, make it count in the voting booth. Don't try and make your statement by showing up with a bunch of rolls of pennies and quarters. Take those to the bank, get them converted to good old hard cash, dollar bills, and then pay that way. Because all you're going to do is frustrate yourself, and the court system is just looking for a reason to pick out those people that they find to be a problem, and that's what that guy did. He's just causing himself a bigger headache than if he had just simply, paid in cash the first time and not tried to get cute with the quarters and the dimes.
And you haven't talked about the fact that the clerks and the judges are going to talk to the police officers. The police officers are going to run his plate every time they see him, and they're going to just hassle him to death.
Well, I think that, and I guess part of the blame applies to Hollywood and TV shows, but people think that, if their lawyer's out there yelling and screaming and putting up a big stink, that they're getting the maximum for their dollars. And I can tell you, at least in my practice, Brian, 9 times out of 10 when I'm yelling and screaming, it's because the other lawyer is not doing what I want them to do or what's proper, and it's costing my client more money. When I have a good rapport and a solid relationship with the other lawyer, I can get my client's objectives accomplished far quicker and easier with less hassle. So when your lawyer's up there kicking and screaming and yelling, I can tell you it's usually because they've done something wrong, not because the court system's done something wrong. So, tread lightly when you go through those courthouse doors.
We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. You can also email your questions to questions@thelawshow.com. If you're nearby a computer or you're going to be nearby a computer, tune in to thelawshow.com, click on the watch live video link, and you'll see yours truly along with Matt Katchik answering your legal questions. We're going to talk to Irv. He's in Ohio. Irv, welcome to the Law Show.
Good morning, Counselor. Let me present my brief as briefly as possible. Grandmother is in a nursing home with dementia. She has 4 siblings. One of the 4 siblings has taken power of attorney over health care. It just so happens that sibling, which has the POA, is an employee of the nursing home where grandmother is located. And she has, through her POA, forbidden the other 3 siblings, all grown people, from visiting grandma.
Big problem.
Is that not presented as a conflict of interest?
Huge problem. I don't think the court's going to like that. I don't think you should tolerate that. Matt, you do a lot more of this.
Right. Well, first, let me make a couple of comments. You don't take a power of attorney. A power of attorney, there are 2 different types of power of attorneys. There are medical power of attorneys that refer to someone making life-ending decisions about whether, do not resuscitate and those types of things, care. And then there's a power of attorney as to financial decisions, whether or not this person can sign checks on your behalf and pay your bills. The 2 are separate and distinct documents. Just because you have a medical power of attorney does not give that person a right to bar other siblings from seeing their grandmother. So I don't know where the authority from that is coming. But the first thing you want to look at is when the grandmother signed and granted this power of attorney, because again, you don't get one. You have to be granted one by the person that's signing it. You have to look at and analyze when the person executed and signed over that power of attorney. First of all, were they in a proper state of mind to do so? And secondly, was the power of attorney properly drafted? That's what you're going to want to have a probate lawyer down there in Ohio take a good long look at, because you're going to want to make sure it was not executed under a cloud of fraud or inducement by this, one child that has the power of attorney. But just because they have a medical power of attorney does not give them any power, again, to bar siblings from visiting the grandmother. That's a big issue. You should get in to see a probate attorney there in the Toledo area as soon as possible, because you want to make sure that the proper actions are done to fix this, if it can be fixed, prior to, God forbid, your grandmother passing.
Does that answer your question
Very
for you,
well.
sir?
Thank you very much, Counselor.
Get into a lawyer right away, because you need to get that thing fixed. We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. We're going to talk to Ken now. Ken, you're on the Law Show. Legal questions at 855-529-7469. Ken, turn your radio down. You're on the Law Show.
Hello.
Ken, turn your radio down.
Yeah, it's all the way down right now.
All right, what can I do for you?
This is going to pertain towards, I guess, one of your financial counselors there.
Okay.
In December 2006, I entered into a contract with a very large carrier trucking company. I won't mention their name.
Okay, good.
And in the contract, it stated they would give you free training as long as after the training you drove for them for 1 year. Well, after 10 months, I was terminated for what I believe was they wanted me to drive with the legal hours. I had been on the road for 5 years, or 5 months just about, and scheduled to come home, and they terminated. So now I have a judgment. I'm sorry.
What state do you live in? Hello?
I live in Michigan.
All right, well, listen. How long ago did you lose your job?
Yeah, I lost my job, and,
How long ago did you lose your job? How long ago?
With my contract.
How long ago did you lose your job?
That was in August, September of 2007.
Okay. Listen, here's the deal. It sounds like it's a whistleblower claim, but on whistleblower claims, I think you've got 90 days to file your lawsuit. So you've missed the detail. If you've got a judgment against you on your record and you don't think you deserve it, then you have to contact your credit reporting bureau and tell them that it is not a righteous record and have them take it off. If they don't take it off within 30 days, you can sue them, but you got to make sure that it's not a proper judgment. And so we're going to continue with the phones. We're going to talk to Jean now. Jean, welcome to the Law Show.
Hello.
What can I do for you, Jean?
My father died about 9 years ago, and he had a trust.
Okay.
In the trust, he remarried after my mother had died, and in the trust it says that she can still stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, it's been 9 years now. The value of the house has gone from like $150,000 down to $30,000, and we had to keep in the trust $10,000 to take care of the house. Myself and my siblings are responsible for the house, and we're down to $3,000 now. What happens? Two things. One, what happens when that $3,000 is gone and the roof needs to be repaired or whatever? Or is there any way that we can get her out of the house?
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, well, I would have to actually see the trust instrument in these types of situations without having the trust in front of me. That trust is kind of like a contract, and that's really going to, as long as it's properly drafted, that's going to have the terms, conditions, and limitations. And if I have that document in my hand, as well as your hypothetical scenario of, okay, we're in a situation now where the trust account fund is not sufficient to maintain the property, what do we do? I would need to have all those things together. If you call me Monday at the office, I am more than happy to set up a free consultation. You would, of course, need to bring in the trust, any amendments to the trust, if there are any wills that are referenced in the trust, all the estate documents. I would need you to bring in all of those things, as well as the factual scenarios you're talking about, and I'm happy to sit down with you, look at everything, and give you my opinion about what your options are. And again, just call the same phone number where you reach the office, and I am more than happy to set up that initial consultation in my office for free. We'll sit down, we'll look at everything, and I'll give you my honest opinion about what I think your options are as under the trust agreement, okay?
Gene, does that answer your question for you?
Oh, one quick question. You said something about the estate papers. What are estate papers?
By the estate, what I mean is all of the estate planning documents, which is the trust, any amendments to the trust, if the trust was at any time replaced by a subsequent trust that, countermanded it, anything like that.
Gene, we got to go. Today is the end of the show. We really appreciate everybody tuning in to the Law Show at 855-LAW-SHOW. That's 855-529-7469. We'll be here every single Sunday at 11 a.m. to answer all your legal questions. You can always email us at questions@thelawshow.com. Give us a call. If you're on the line, stay on the line. Don't get off. Stay tuned for the Law Show Extra on thelawshow.com at 855-529-7469. We'll be back next week.